to Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm tired.
You can hear Rachel's tone. She's really excited to be here today.
It's not that. It's insomnia. What do I don't.
And it's a gloomy day.
That's just the least of my concerns.
It doesn't help though.
It definitely doesn't help. So
you and I are both very sensitive to the weather.
Yeah.
It's part of the highly sensitive nature.
I'm also sensitive to just not getting enough sleep. Which
everyone is sensitive to that. That makes everything harder.
Yeah. It makes your whole outlook on life like really bleak. There are days when I get like, I haven't had a good night's sleep in like a month. That's part of the problem. And then there are days where I'll get like a good night's sleep or I'll get enough sleep that it makes a difference. And all of a sudden I'm like a normal person. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it's like to have normal thoughts.
And you've done so much work on your sleep routine.
But I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. There are some crosses we bear. Mm-hmm. This is mine. I could have other ones. Might be nice to trade for a day or two, but this is, this is what I got. So it is what it is. So I don't know how coherent this side chat will be. I've said some smart things while tired before. I can probably do it again.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just going to dive in because I don't really have anything else to quip about today.
We don't have to quip.
I don't want to quip today. Okay, so I've had two different clients recently ask me this question. And whenever that happens, I'm like, I got to have a conversation about this in a more open forum. Because if you guys are both thinking it, then it's probably something more people are thinking
And
too.
I know many of my clients over the years have ask this directly or indirectly.
So the question goes like this. And if you heard my normal person interview in March, with Chelsea about manifestation. Actually, it wasn't really a normal person interview. It was more of an expert interview, but whatever. It was Manifestation 101 with Chelsea Jewell. This might have been a question that occurred to you after listening to that. It's a question that a lot of people with a spiritual bent or people who are like in this realm of, hey, I'm a normal person and I'm grounded, but I also believe in the universe and I have questions might be thinking.
And I get people asking this question,
even if they don't,
because they just feel paralyzed by not
indecision or fear or something. So the question is, how clear do I need to be to get what I want? I feel like I'm not clear enough. I had someone say, I hear that you have to be very specific to manifest things properly.
Mm-hmm. Or to make any moves. So I hear this also from my perfectionist clients who feel like I can't move forward. I can't take any action until I'm exactly sure what I'm going to do. So it could be from whatever impetus is bringing up this question. It gets down to the same ultimate curiosity, which is, where is that line? I know that I need to have some level of understanding of what I want, of clarity.
Hello, welcome to this podcast.
But how much detail do I have to know before I can take a step forward or before I can attract what I want?
Yeah.
Almost universally, my short answer, and then trust there will be a much longer answer to follow, as always. My short
there's
answer,
something really wrong with me if I can't produce a long podcast today.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. Usually we have no trouble filling up your ears.
Maybe the more tired I get, the like
more rambly.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't think I'm going to get more concise. Anyway,
probably not.
Anyway,
the short answer is way less clear than you think you have to be.
For sure.
That is almost a guarantee. Everyone thinks they have to have so much more of a detailed understanding than they actually really need.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you questions because I can't think very clearly today. How clear do you have to be to do a podcast? We'll find out.
Not that clear.
How clear do you think most people think they need to be? Let's use an example.
I think
either career or relationship or something. Like, give me an example of what you think someone thinks they have to, be certain of before they can move forward.
Let's use career because that's why a lot of you are here.
Yeah.
Most of you, I imagine, and if I'm wrong, please leave me a comment to let me know. But I've coached enough of you to know you think you have to know so many minute aspects of the job or the company or the role that you want before you can do informational interviews, before you can start searching and applying and even just talking about what you want. You think you have to know what the job is called. You think you have to know what industry it's in. You think you have to know what company you want to work for. You think you have to know your 5 or 10 year plan. You don't have to know hardly any of those things to move forward.
You have to know how tall the job is. You have to know what color hair it has.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's almost easier from a relationship perspective, right? You think we have to know what they look like and what their job is and where their family is from and so many specifics that we can get caught up in. And if you think, I don't know, I'm not clear enough, then you think, I don't really know what I want. And then you won't go after it. You won't expect it. You won't attract it. You won't even recognize it because you think, I don't know enough yet to be sure. And so we'll end up blocking the things that we want just out of a belief that we're not clear enough. Isn't it just like any other belief? I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm not clear enough. I don't know what I want enough. It's all some version of lack.
Yeah. And I mean, I understand it. Haziness and confusion are real. I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't matter at all how clear you are, but it just doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Well, and what the distinction I want to make here is it's less about the specifics, all those things I just mentioned, the titles and the industries and the eye color, and all of that. It's more about how you want to feel. I want a job where I feel more connected. I want a job where I care about the mission. I want a job where I get to be creative. You don't have to know what it's called to be able to attract it or recognize it or even go after it. You have to know enough of the end goal, not the path to get there, not the job that's going to ultimately get you to how you want to feel and the experiences that you want to have once you get that job. You don't have to know the specifics of that. You have to know, here's what I want my life to look and feel like. And whatever gets me there,
what I want is a job that will support that vision.
That's right. And I don't have to know the what or even the how. I just have to know I want something that's more free than what I have right now. Or I want something that's more connected than what I have right now. Now, there might be some specifics that you are clearer on. You might say there's general industries that I'm interested in, or there's general, but you don't have to know every specific. And in fact, I would be more concerned if you do know every single specific.
Yeah.
Because you're probably not open to alternatives that might actually be a better fit for you.
There's a detriment to thinking you know too much.
This is maybe a bell curve.
There's a bell. Yes, there's definitely a bell curve.
The peak of the bell curve is I know some of the bigger aspects of what I want, but I don't know all the nitty-gritty details.
And maybe I don't need to know. Maybe if I trust,
we're at the peak of the bell curve.
Maybe if you
know too many, you're going down the downslope.
And at the peak, maybe if I if I have a sense of trust in something bigger than myself, like the universe, then I'm fine with not knowing, because I know that, well, I could have an idea, but the universe might have a much better idea of what's possible for me. And why would I pretend like I know everything? Maybe I need to leave room to be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe I'm not smarter than the universe. Maybe I should trust that.
Yeah.
I can't see 27 steps down the road.
Yeah. Maybe I just need a foundation of what I'm attracted to and what I don't want and what I think would be, what would feel good to me. And maybe the universe is capable of filling in the dots. Maybe, why am I thinking of paint by numbers right now? But I am. I think what you might need to know is a certain number of dots. I don't even think you fully need to know how they all connect and what colors to paint in what areas. But I think that you need to have a certain degree of framework sort of established. And then the rest can get filled in, not necessarily by you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think a lot of people are comfortable with that. So I actually think when people are like, I don't know enough, what they're saying is, I'm not comfortable with not knowing. Mm-hmm. Those are two different things.
It's okay to be not comfortable with not knowing. That is uncomfortable.
But it doesn't actually mean you don't know enough.
No, you almost certainly know enough to get started. And I think this is another distinction I want to make. I don't think knowing what you want is like a point in time where all of a sudden you just get this fully developed, clear picture.
Never.
Knowing what you want is trying something, taking a pause, reflecting, how did that feel? Letting something come to you, taking a pause, seeing how that felt, and navigating it along the way and continuing to gather. What's the game I'm thinking about where you just kind of like, I don't know if I'm.
Well, you're not describing anything very well. All you're saying is gather, and you're making weird, jerky arm movements.
Clearly not. It's not my most coherent day either. But I feel like maybe it's like an Easter egg hunt. Maybe that's what it is. You're like gathering more items, except if it was like a jigsaw puzzle. Oh, there you go. If it was a jigsaw puzzle connected with an Easter egg hunt.
You just made that very convoluted for no reason.
No. This is good. I like this. You're
I don't yet, but go ahead.
Gathering pieces, and they'll start to make a picture. But you can't just expect the full picture to be delivered to you. And until that time, you tell yourself, I don't know what I want. No, you have to keep experiencing and learning and gathering and checking in with yourself. How did that feel? How did that feel? And little by little, more clarity will come. But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you can wait to take action, because all along the way that you get that clarity is by taking little actions and by reflecting and checking in
by finding pieces of the jigsaw puzzle.
You
know what a lot of people really hate is that you can get a bunch of pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, maybe all of them, and then you put them together and there's a picture, and then that lasts for a while, and then you need a new jigsaw puzzle.
That's a whole other side.
They hate that. But it's not just one and done, it's like a constant.
It's not.
The pieces keep replacing themselves. Like new pieces will come in, old pieces will leave.
And sometimes you just throw the whole jigsaw puzzle out, you find a new one.
Start over. Right. And all of that is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that gets in the way of people thinking that they have enough clarity because they never 100% feel clear. I'm like, I don't know that I ever 100% feel clear. Some days, I might have days where I feel clear. And then I'll keep going. And then there will be a next phase. And I'm like, wait, now I'm not clear about that. And that's life.
That's being a human.
Unfortunately, I feel like so much of what we say is like disappointing people about how life really works.
But I don't know that it sounds disappointing because it sounds like it's what we don't want to hear. But if you actually imagined a life where you picked a thing that you want, and then you never changed your mind and you never grew or evolved or wanted something a little bit different or wanted to change or up level or try something off of that picture, then that would be really lame.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to grow as a person, which if you're here listening to this podcast, you are someone who cares about personal growth. Otherwise, why are you listening to two coaches talk in your ear every single week? You care about growing and evolving. And if that's the case, what you want is going to change and evolve too. And so you may never be 100% clear about what you want, because the next version of you, the you of next year or 5 years from now,
next month,
next month, sometimes tomorrow, might want something a little bit different because he or she is growing into a different person in a different phase of life. Yeah. So if you're waiting to be 100% sure of what you want, you may never get there. And that's actually a sign that you're a person who's growing, not that anything is wrong with you.
Yeah.
So what's the line then? Because that was the question, right? How clear do I have to be?
I don't know where the line is. I'm not ready to answer that question yet. But I do want to say this. Stop saying I don't know what I want. That'd be my first piece of feedback for all of you, is stop saying I don't know what I want. It's inaccurate. Do you want to know why? Every single person listening to this could rattle off a list for me right now of 10 things they're not happy with. Okay. I don't like that my boss micromanages me. I don't like that my work isn't flexible enough. I don't like that I don't have any hobbies. I don't like that I spend too much time alone and I don't have a community or whatever. You could all rattle off 10 at least things that you're not pleased with. And then you could, then you could take that and you could tell me what the reverse of all of those things are. Okay. Well, so you're saying you want more flexibility? You're saying you want a boss who trusts you more? You're saying, right. Like you're saying you want a community. Okay. That's not nothing. That's you knowing something about what you want.
To say, I don't know what I want would mean you're a person with no preferences. That's not you.
Never met anyone like that.
Never met anyone.
I might have met some people with some pretty bland ass personalities in my time. And even they had some opinions and some preferences. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So when you have that thought in your mind, first of all, it's not true.
No, it's just fundamentally incorrect. You do have ideas about what you want, if only rooted in what you don't want.
Mm-hmm. Second, I've seen this in a lot of my clients. I think it gets into a bad thought pattern, a bad thought habit. We get in the habit of if we could actually step outside of our own brains for a day and just document all of our thoughts, they would be so repetitive.
Inane.
There's so many things we've just like you get into a bad habit of chewing your fingernails.
Yeah.
Or for me, it's cracking my knuckles.
Yeah. Saying I don't know what I want is the chewing fingernails of like career coaching. I don't like it. Right. It's just, it's kind of gross and it's not useful.
It's not helping you.
And I mean, I can't say that it's incorrect to chew. I mean, yeah, it's kind of incorrect. Don't chew your fingernails. It's just not accurate.
It's not hygienic.
It's not hygienic. It's not mentally hygienic to keep saying, I don't know what I want.
It's not.
Right.
So I want you to replace that when you catch it, when you catch yourself saying, oh, I don't know what I want. I can't do anything because I don't know what I want. Instead, ask yourself, what are some things I know I want?
Even if it's based in what I don't want.
That's okay. That's
knowing
something. A clear indicator of what you do want. I don't want this. That's a preference.
Okay. So
which means there's an opposite preference.
So I must want that. I must want more of this. I must want more flexibility. I must want more freedom. I must want more connection. I must want more creativity.
I think what's really behind the thought, I don't know what I want, is I don't know how to get what I want.
I was literally going to say that. Yeah.
Or I don't know if what I want is possible.
Yeah. It's okay. Well, then what do I do with that? That's what it,
those are easy. Those are harder to answer. So we just default to, I don't know what I want. Because at least feels like I should be able to do something about that. And
right. I don't know how to get there is a little bit harder. I know some things about what I want, but how do I get there? That's first of all, that's something you don't need to know.
I wanted to just give you a big relief. That's the part you don't need.
You don't need to know that.
You don't have to have that answer yet.
No.
If you know some things about what you want, you are well on your way to creating whatever that is.
And in fact, let me tell you this. Some of you aren't going to like this. Some of you are. The more convinced you are that you are the one who has to figure out, what am I going to do about that? How am I going to figure out how to take things that I know I want, like flexibility and freedom and community and whatever else is on my list, and turn that into something, the more you will feel like you don't know what you're doing and that you don't know what you want, because you will very quickly come up against the limitations of your human brain and its capacity to problem solve on that level, because the human brain was not designed to problem solve on that level. The human brain is good at solving equations and concrete problems and formulas. It's not great at answering, nor was it designed to answer more existential, intangible, multi-layered, multifaceted questions like, how do I turn these values into a path? It ain't good at that. So the more you think you're responsible for thinking your way into that, you're going to feel really stuck and you're going to feel really lost. If, however, you think maybe it's not solely my job to get there. Maybe my job is to start with where I am and get clear on what do I know, and then allow the universe to guide me into something that might potentially be a fit for what I do know, and keep doing that over and over and over and over. I know that sounds easier said than done. And we've had plenty of episodes about manifestation and
feminine energy,
listening to your intuition. And we can link to those episodes because that's not what this one is about. But if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, we haven't left you hanging on how to do that. Like you might, but thinking you're responsible for figuring out what to do is a recipe for feeling stuck and feeling helpless, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So if you recognize that's the real question, or that's the real concern under your feeling of,
is I don't know how to get there.
And then you can say, I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Then you're actually in a much, much better spot than you thought you were. If you have the thought, I don't know what I want. Yes, I do. There's plenty of things that I know that I want. Even if it's as small as, I know I want to go for a walk after work because I've been sitting all day.
Great. Go for a fucking walk.
Great. I know that I like being outside. I know that I like when the sun is shining.
You know what might happen on that walk? You might have an idea. Oh, maybe I should reach out to that person on LinkedIn.
I like having interesting conversations with people. Great. Let's do that.
Have an interesting conversation.
I bet some interesting stuff will come up. Some interesting ideas will come up. Great.
A lot. Here's another problem. Listen, I got a lot of beef with people today and I'm airing it. A lot of people don't like the process of following the breadcrumbs because they are impatient and they can't see how all the puzzle pieces are going to eventually fit together, or if they fit together. So they don't want to do it because they think it's useless. They want to know, they want to be handed every single piece of that jigsaw ahead of time. And then they want to sit down and calmly do a puzzle. And I'm like, that's not what you signed up for.
This is a jigsaw puzzle mixed with an Easter egg hunt.
Scavenger hunt. Can we call it a scavenger hunt?
Sure. It's just maybe Easter is coming up. That's why it's in my brain. But a scavenger hunt is timeless. So we can do that anytime.
It's also not Christian. It's non-denominational. Anyone can scavenge. Anyone can hunt.
It's true.
Anyone can
So
jigsaw
if you're
puzzle.
listening to this not in April, then it still applies. Yeah. So it's a little bit messy. It's not just a scavenger hunt. It's not just a jigsaw puzzle. It's a little bit of a messy mashup. And that's how it goes. Like there's not exactly rules. You get clear on, here's a few things that I know that I want. Let me take a few steps on those.
Ooh,
and
I like that?
I will keep getting more clarity the more I take steps toward what feels good. That's all you have to do. in a way, you could make that feel like a relief. And this is why I'm thinking of my episode with Carolyn Kononica about feminine energy experiment.
January 2021.
We'll link to that. Because that's what she did. She did an experiment, which was, what if I don't have to know all the answers?
Yeah.
I just have to know generally some things that I want and be open to ideas and solutions and possibilities and people and react as they come in and see, does that feel good? Does that not feel good?
Yeah.
And then take it to the next step. And it felt, spoiler alert, it felt a million times better and she got way better results. But go listen to it. Don't take my word for it.
You know, again, I'm just angry at people today. And so I'm just...
Are you angry at people or are you angry at insomnia and it's flooding out on people? It's okay. Same.
It's bringing out the frustrations that I have with people and just the way that we think. I'm including myself in this, okay? I'm not hating on everyone else. I'm just saying.
This is turning into a Rachel rant, and some people don't even remember our very short-lived
I can always bring it back.
Series called Rachel Rant.
It's not dead.
No, it's not dead.
It's just taking a long hiatus. You and I don't just recommend things because we're like, oh yeah, this is a fun thing for you to do. We recommend things because they work.
And because we know I'm interested in
because we know it doesn't work. Like, I don't give a shit if something is fun and cute if it doesn't work. Like, get out of here with that. I don't care about your
I'm actually really glad you said that because so much of what we share can feel fluffy and intangible.
And Kristen and I are not fluffy people. Me especially.
Not at all. We are, while yes, we're coaches. I love to talk about possibilities and ideas and intangible things. I believe realist,
in some weird ass shit.
And I want to always root it in the real world because what else is the point?
But if it's not like making you money or like getting you a great job or getting you laid, if that's what you want.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like, then what is the point? If it's not making you happy and it doesn't work, I don't care. So we don't talk about things that don't work because what would the point of that be?
Here's what I know doesn't work. Trying to micromanage everything and trying to control all the circumstances and trying to have all the answers ahead of time.
Doesn't work.
I've tried it personally. I know Rachel has tried it personally. I've seen almost all of my clients try it.
I'm still trying it and failing.
It
doesn't work.
So what works is not what you want to hear, but that we're telling you what works.
Yes.
And it can actually feel better if you let it. It can feel like a relief because not only does micromanaging and over controlling not work, it is exhausting and it is energy draining.
Yes.
And it's going to give you a lot of anxiety.
And to drive the point home, what we're saying is that thinking that you need to be clear, super, super clear in order to get what you want is a version of controlling and micromanaging.
Yeah. I have to know all of the 85 steps that are going to be required from here to my dream job, or from here to moving to the country I want to live in, or from here to getting married. I have to know all 85 steps.
You just called out one of my clients with those three things that you just said. I talked to her yesterday and I'm like, you just called her out on every front. I hope she hears this.
I don't even know her. Well, but isn't that usually what we all want? We want the home, we want the job, we want the relationship.
Sure.
And you don't, the top three.
And because you don't trust how it's all going to fit together and you can't see the steps, you're not willing to move. And you think that you need to know more. Knowing more, wanting to know more is a really great way to procrastinate too, and self-sabotage. So now I think we can revisit the original question of where do we draw the line? Like, what do you need to know? Like, what are the dots that you must put on that paint by numbers kitty cat in order to actually produce a picture that looks like a cat and not a blob, right? Okay. A, you need to know what you don't want. And congrats, everyone listening to this just checked that box.
It's the easiest one of all. We all know what we don't want.
We all know what we don't. I don't want to struggle with insomnia anymore.
Yep. And it makes the next step easier, which is you have to know at least a few things about what you do want, mostly how you want to feel.
Yes, not what you want on some stupid surface level tangible. I do not care about like, well, what industry is it? Get out of here with that. I don't care. I need to know how you want to feel. And most of what you don't want, everything you don't want is rooted in how you and how you feel, right? If I don't want my boss to micromanage me, you're not saying I want to not be micromanaged. What you're saying is I value autonomy. I value trust. I want to feel supported.
And why do you value those things? Because they feel a certain way to you.
Because they feel good.
The reason we're honing so much on identifying how you do and don't want to feel is because that's where your preferences come from. They don't come from your brain. Your preferences don't come from, it is logically better to experience this than this. No, it feels freer. It feels more spacious. It feels more connected. It feels however you want to feel. Or it doesn't. It feels the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. That's how you know what your preferences are. That's how you know what you want. If you say, I don't know what I want, you're saying, I don't have feelings, which is not true.
It's not true.
Now, that might mean I'm not very connected to my feelings.
Yeah.
I might have numbed them out, but it does not mean you don't have them.
And that's a part of the journey of getting clear. Is if your intuition and your feelings aren't online enough, you might really struggle to take action or to know what you want. So I would say thing number one, you need to know that's actually like baseline, fundamental, important is you need to know what you don't want. And then you need to be able to identify, well, what are some of the feelings that's rooted in that I clearly value, things that I really want. And then you might need to work on opening up your intuition and being able to express your feelings a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Because again, you don't want anything that you think you want, a job, a relationship, a family, whatever, for surface level reasons. You don't want a husband because you want a trophy husband who like looks good on your arm while you're at your doctor's conferences. And you're like, this is Mr. Dr. Smith, right? Like, no. I'm guessing you want a husband for deeper reasons than that. I'm guessing you want a job for deeper reasons than that. You want these things because you believe they will make you feel good. And if you are not capable right now, because you're a little bit blocked, you're a little bit emotionally constipated, we have an episode about that. I'll link to it. Then you're going to have a really hard time following that scavenger hunt, collecting those pieces, because the way that you get guided from piece to piece and you put the puzzle together is through your gut and through your feelings. Mm-hmm. It's not through logic. That's not typically how the universe speaks to people. It's not through your brain. It's through your heart and through your gut. And so you have to have those somewhat clear in order to be able to do that work. I'm going to link to episodes that will help you do both of those things. Hone your intuition.
So many links.
And start feeling your feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm also thinking of the mind, body, soul. Your mind should not be the thing that is deciding what do I ultimately want. It's not capable. That is, if you are asking your mind to make a decision,
feelings.
It is you are tasking it with something it is incapable of doing for you. Yes. That is your soul or your intuition or your feelings. All of the above combined are required in order to clearly know, here's what I want. Here's how I want to feel. Here's what I want my life experiences to be like. Your mind can't do it for you. Your mind can start to help you figure out, here's a step I could take. Great. How do we do that one step? That's what your mind is good for. Don't ask it to help you clarify what you want. It can't do it. A lot of the work we do with our clients is turning back on their feelings, turning back on their intuition. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes really clear, oh, I actually do know what I want.
Mm-hmm. Or I don't need to know, but I'm just being guided. And
I know enough of what I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, okay, like to be honest, that's it. That's my baseline. Mm-hmm. Those are my baseline things. You don't really need to know more than that to get started. Like those are the things that you need. You need to know what you don't want. You need to be able to have identified a few things that you do want. But the things are things, those things are feelings.
Yes.
And you need to be open enough to follow guidance.
Yep. And then check in along the way. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to add this in. You have to be willing to follow guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Like openness is one thing, but you then have to you have to have accepted, you have to have made peace with the fact that you are not going to be delivered any answers on a silver platter. You have to be willing to engage with life and experiment, even when you don't really want to, and when you wish that you could just be told everything ahead of time.
That's why it's a scavenger hunt. The pieces are not delivered to you in your Amazon box in 2 days.
It is not.
You have to go out and you have to keep finding them.
Yeah. And you have to be somewhat, you don't have to start here. Like this is something that you can get better at over time, but you have to be somewhat satisfied with the process.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like, I hate this scavenger hunt. Every piece of it sucks, right? You have to be like, oh, that's interesting. And then if the universe brings you something that's not quite what you want, you then don't have a tantrum because it's not exactly what you want. You go, okay, that's helpful. This is helping me clarify and hone more of what I do want.
More of this, less of that.
Exactly. So there's some of this that I like, but there's some that I don't like. So you know what? Next time, I think I'd like more of this.
But guess what? That was clarifying.
Exactly.
You want to know what you want. So you need to have experiences of
that help you hone.
Of both sides of that, so that you can get more clear.
You have to be okay with refinement. You have to be okay with constantly being refined.
Yep.
And if you're not okay with that, then you're not going to enjoy life very much, because that's what is going to happen, whether you like it or not. And if it's not happening, it's because you've completely stagnated. And that's going to feel worse than the constant process of refinement.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know some of you have been there, maybe are there now. It's better to refine, because if you're never going to be clear, at least you can keep adding adding another piece to the puzzle, and then another piece, versus just saying, screw this puzzle. I'm not even doing a puzzle. I'm just going to opt out. That is when life starts to look really bleak.
Yeah. Or when you start getting desperate and you start throwing money at people to tell you what to do, and then it doesn't work.
Can you go do my scavenger hunt for me? No, it doesn't work that way.
I sure as hell know that I have asked that of people and it didn't work. And I know people have asked it of me and I refuse.
Now you can get some guy, hey, can you help me figure out where to look for my pieces?
Sure.
Great. That's fine. But you still have to participate.
Can you help me hone my ability to follow guidance? You bet your ass I can. That's what I spend most of my time doing, as a matter of fact. Is I believe you probably already have a very clear idea somewhere deep down of what you would really like to be doing and what you're attracted to. And it's my job to help you get out of your own way enough so that you can sense what that is and in what direction you want to move. So guess what? You don't need to know what you want. Stop acting like you need to know what you want in order for life to happen. You don't.
I hope it's a relief to some of you to hear that.
It's going to be a mixed bag. I think they're going to be relieved about some of it and they're going to be annoyed about some of it. But guess what? That's life too.
Yeah. This is how it is. We're trying to tell you what works. Again,
this is not an airy fairy podcast where we just have good things to share with you.
That wouldn't be very realistic.
Also, change your definition of good, because everything we just said is a good thing.
I mean, I think it's all great. Yeah. I'm telling you, I have done it the old way. I've done it this way.
This way works.
Feels so much better too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You feel anxious. Less pressure. You feel less responsible for every piece of the friggin' puzzle. You don't feel like it's all on you to mentally figure it out. It's
more fun and less anxiety producing.
Do you know what anxiety is? It's feeling like your mind is a 3D printer that's responsible for printing jigsaw pieces. Don't you think?
And in reality, they're already out there.
They're already out there. They already exist. It's just your job to align with them. Oh, you hear Scarlett outside? She's
clearing what she does not want.
Oh, she just brought her ball. She knows what she wants. She wants me to stop fucking podcasting.
She does not want to be alone, and she does want to be pet.
She wants me to take her outside and stop doing this.
She is. I feel like animals are. Some of those. They're so clear on what they want, and they will ask for it. If you need some guidance on how to express what you want and be clear about it, watch your dog or watch your friend's dog. They're great. They're the best. Shameless about it too.
Kristen, this is about you. She never comes up here when it's just me talking.
I'm exciting.
Like if I'm upstairs and I'm talking and she hears me talking and I'm talking to a client, she never comes up. She doesn't care. It's because it's you and me up here and we're having fun without her and the door is shut. And
she does not like to be excluded and she does like to be included.
She does. It makes her feel happy. It makes her feel warm. Yeah, truly. Go watch a dog or a little child or something if you want to like learn a lesson about.
Oh yeah, watch a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
I hate that. Yeah. I like that. They know exactly. And you were that way too when you were little. And then it got muddied up. It's still there though.
I mean, my 2-year-old nephew is not sitting around going, I don't know what I want.
Oh, I'm not clear enough. How do I want to spend my day?
You know,
what do I want to play with? They're not plagued by indecision.
He always knows what he wants. I want to not wear my helmet on this bike and drive into traffic. And then his dad says no, and he throws a tantrum. And he's like, "That's not what I want."
Or our friend's daughter, I don't want to wear pants. Well, she
got a choice.
Does not like to wear pants.
Her parents gave her a choice. You can either wear pants and no underwear, or you can wear underwear and a dress, but no pants.
Okay.
And so some days she would just go back and forth between, she never had to wear underwear and pants if she didn't want to.
See? And she was clear. I don't want to.
I don't like underwear. I don't know what to tell you. And I don't really like pants either.
So ask yourself, what am I clear on?
Right.
I don't want and I do want.
Yeah. And I think a lot of you think there's not enough wisdom in that. And that's where you go wrong, is you think that that's not enough. It is. It is. To get started, it is. And the rest, you can be guided. That's how Kristen and I started. How do you think we got here? Kristen and I did not start going, I know that I want to start a business and it's going to be called Clarity on Fire and I'm going to do life and career coaching and I'm going to do it for 10 years.
In fact, it wasn't even called Clarity on Fire at first. We just knew I want to start some kind of a business.
No, even before that, it was, I hate this job. That was it.
Yeah. That's true.
Before that, it was, I want to write a book.
I don't want to work for other people in an office setting.
Yes.
That was what I knew.
Yes.
And that's all I had to go off of to start with.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like, again, it works. And also we've been there. You don't really talk about things unless both of those things are true.
I can tell you it works because here we are living it.
Yeah. And I'm still living it. My problem is no longer, I don't know what I want. It's now, okay, what I want is evolving.
I need to revisit.
And how do I recalibrate?
What I wanted.
Yeah. How do I recalibrate when what I want is changing? But I always kind of know what I want. I'm always up to speed with knowing it's changing, but then, how do I deal with like the ramifications of it changing?
Because sometimes you get what you want and it's good for a while. And then
you evolve. Yeah.
And so, like I said before, it's not set it and forget it.
All right. Well, I hope that was helpful.
It was more of a joint rant, but I think it was
a little bit ranty. Yeah.
I think it was important.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear what you think, even if you didn't like it, but you understand. Like, I don't like that it's true, but I get it. Like, I believe you, but I don't like it. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's an okay response.
I'm fine with that. Check out some of the episodes that I'm going to link to in the show notes that will help you with various aspects of this.
What do I do
struggling now? Yeah. All right. Well, great. Thanks. Got it. Don't love it. Sort of understand it. I'm
willing to try because my way is not working.
Yeah. I'll link to some episodes. And of course, by the way, do I have to say it? This is what coaching is for. This is the whole point of coaching. So, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to figure that out by yourself. That whole process we just went through goes a lot faster when you have someone who's been doing it for 10 years guiding you through it. Like, duh.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just,
Exactly. You can have a companion on your scavenger hunt.
Right. Someone who's helped a lot of other people find scavenger pieces. Like, I tend to know where they're hidden, I tend to know where you need to go in order to attract them. So, okay. Well, just always gotta shout out, like, this is what we do. Stop suffering. If you don't want to suffer, you could have help.
Yeah. Like that. This is like a teaser for the deep work we do in coaching. Just so you know, it's possible. That's kind of what this is about. This is possible. And you're not as stuck as you think you are. and you can figure it out on your own. We did. Or you could figure it out with some help. Great.
Yeah, it's always a combination of both.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're going to do parts of it by yourself and you're going to do parts of it with help, but you should probably, if you don't want to suffer, you don't need to do it by yourself. So, okay.
That was a lot.
That's all.
But that's all.
I'm tired. And that's all. And the dog wants me to take her for a walk. So I guess I will. And that's what she wants.
Yeah. We don't want to deprive her.
No. Okay. So we will be back next week with, I'm fingers crossed, as long as it all goes to plan, an expert interview. I won't tell you what, just in case it doesn't happen. And then I have to scramble for something else.
We're still scheduling.
But if it is what we think it is, I think you're going to really like it.
It's going to be a good one whenever it happens.
That's true. It'll happen.
Be a good one.
Okay. It'll happen even if it's not, whatever. We'll wait for that scavenger piece to fall into place.
There you go. But we will see you next week in some way.
I guess. All right.
Bye.
Bye.